Thinking. 1, 2, 3, press. 1,
2,
3,
4,
5, 7,
8.
9. Yes,
Welcome to another episode of Around the Way Curls. Hello. How are you, Antoinette? How are you doing?
Oh, you want me to go first? Hi.
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 What's going on? How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm really asserting myself at work,
Oh, yes.
and it feels good. I'm getting a lot of praise, but I haven't listen,
You praise for asserting yourself?
just for the work that I'm doing. But I will say that I have been having boundaries, which is good. There was only 2 nights that I worked hella late and was all stressed out. But there were 3 nights where I said, I am unavailable. Sorry. And I had a conversation about what expectations are and how they need to shift. So I'm feeling good. It's just anyway, I don't want to talk about it because it gets me upset. But I'm learning how to navigate this new brand that I'm on. It's a lot to navigate, and it can be very trying. So anyway, my phone, you're going to laugh. You know, the iPhone will say, you have a memory.
That's fucked up. See, Androids don't do that kind of abusive.
Yeah. Well, this memory was a memory of me and Jade way back in the day. And me and Jade, and I'm like, wow, we look so, like, where are we going? And damned if I didn't remember, me and Jade. Damned if I didn't remember that it was Jade taking me to the Tombs to go put money on somebody's books. And I was reminded by my ride or die days.
Y'all
and
took
I
a picture
was
of that
here.
before? Y'all was like, let's take a
We
picture.
were in the car. I don't know why we were taking a picture. It was so dumb. She drove me, and if anybody in New York know what the Tombs is now. And this fool that I was dating, not even in a relationship with. Girl,
I'm sorry I didn't
down,
tell you.
dummy.
I was drowning.
You were
myself.
letting me flip.
I think there was so much going on at that time that, girl.
Like, why didn't anybody, and why didn't Jade? Like, why didn't anybody?
What was wrong with us?
Girl, I realized I'm not going to blame myself. You want to know why? Because I realized that I was in the throes of Hotepism.
We got to talk about how Hoteps got it fucked up.
Hoteps was like, you stand by him.
Yes.
The system is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The man is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
He is a mere victim. And you know what? I get that. I really do. And I believe it. But then I was thinking about him and I was like, no, he might needed to have been locked up based off the shit I know about him. And I was like, and it wasn't even what he did. It was his way of being. It was how he's a sociopath. Like, he's a sociopath. Truly. And I was like, what were you doing? And why were you convinced that you were being a good woman by doing it?
That's Around the Way Curls blog days. And she wrote, I wish, I'm so sad that blog is gone because the way we could look back and laugh or cry.
No, I would cringe and cry over that.
She
cringe and cry. I was in there visiting him. I was stressed out.
Girl, you was in there putting money on his books.
A server. I was a server trying to figure out how I could keep him afloat to somebody who's not my y'all.
Not even you, missing.
I have come a long way. May we all just take a moment. This is, if you are listening to this, this is hope. I gave you 2 hopeful ass episodes. Okay. You can be there and then be less there. Because I don't even know if I'm out of the woods yet. But
no, you are
tricky over here.
That is just not even the same person, girl. And I apologize I was not well enough to let you. That just shows you your association. Who you associate with
It's everything.
You needed somebody to be like, girl, what? I'm telling you, we need aunties.
Dr. Umar had capped my head up. I was groomed for that. I was like, no, I'm holding you
Not
down.
Dr. Umar.
10 toes down. Knee deep in this. You and me. I know you're a sociopath, but it is because
you're my boyfriend, but you're my king.
That's the name of this episode. Go ahead.
I just want to say this is a public service announcement from the Around the Way Curls that all y'all who have vaginas and men, y'all need to go get your checkups, okay? You need to go call your, you know this has been in the back of your mind. You know that you've been procrastinating this. You know it's important. I need you to go call your doctor, call your local clinic, city clinic if you have to. Ain't no shame in your game. Go and get your pap smears, queens. I have mine on the 10th, and like a true Sag, I must let everybody know and tell them to do the same because I did it first. So go do that. Also got a checkup. I'm happy to let you know that my liver, my kidneys, my cholesterol, my blood pressure, fabulous.
I know that's right, queen.
So I'm over here surviving, child.
Being grown. I love it.
Woo! So excited. I got a dental appointment. I already have my dental appointment, but it's very important as we age. All you men need to get.
What do men need? Go ahead, finish. What do men need to get?
All of us, apparently, because of our poor eating habits, the age that's been raised to get your colon checked is raised now to 40 years old. We ain't that.
Lowered, a lot of us, you mean?
What happened?
Has been lowered.
What did I say? It's been raised. Has been lowered. Because we ain't eating right. And we got the buildup, the polyps, and the cancer.
we never talked about.
It ain't happened. It's bad out here.
The colonics. Did you ever get one yet?
No, I need to get. That's next on my list. Is getting a good old colonic.
I got a thing of 3 in there. Shout out to my sister for getting me that for Christmas.
Listen,
a real one.
I would love to get a colonic. We should go together.
The spot, black owned spot right over here. Shout out to Jep Heptep.
No, Hotep. That wasn't a joke. That is real.
Yeah, that is really the name. And it is black owned in Brooklyn. And they do an amazing job. And they talk you through what they see. And they talk you through the experience. They're very gentle. They use essential oils to calm you down. There's music.
I need it. I'm next. I gotta get it.
Aunties doing it.
All of us have to do it. You know, all of us have to maybe even consider fasting for a day. Let that system get cleared. I'm on my way back to Hotepism, actually.
I know,
I'm trying
that's
to
right.
swing back to it.
Sankofa moment.
Child. But also, I wanted to share with these very interesting emotions I've been sitting with. My God, I am on the final weeks of my business class that I've been taking. It's a 12-week course. It's called 10,000 Small Businesses. It's funded and facilitated, funded by Goldman Sachs, but facilitated at the local community college of Philadelphia. I am in the classroom with 32 other business owners. Folks are making millions of dollars annually in revenue. People are selling their businesses. Some people are just sole proprietors, just one person, all different ranges of revenue and experience in that room, all different types of people. It's been really, really beautiful. There's like friendships that are forming. We're helping one another. We're learning more about each other's business, and it's coming to an end. And so the course is intended to kind of come for full circle. You go through all of these different modules from, you're the leader, to legal, to your finances, to marketing, to getting your vision and your mission statement together. And it's supposed to end, or the ending module this week was on your pitch. So basically like, all right, you understand all your business, you know where you're going, you know the money that you need to make. So we're setting you up to do a mock pitch where you can go to investors and ask for money. And so I, of course, have not the information is so dense. There's no way that you're going to be able to really dive deep into all of those modules and then come by the last week to like be prepared for this. It's all just kind of like practice in a lot of ways. So no, not everybody's ready. I certainly was not ready. I certainly haven't done all my financials. And so knowing that we had to do this pitch, I was like, I don't even know how much fucking money I should be asking for. So going in again, similar to what had going on with the negotiations, and this is me really seeing myself already feeling like overwhelmed. This just isn't going to be, this is a waste of time. I'm not ready to like do this. And I was a little bit scared that we were forced to pitch. We were forced to write our pitch. And they had basically 6 rounds of pitches. 6 to 7 rounds of pitches. So you pitched in your own group, you pitched with the bigger group, and then you pitched with the entire class. And so as I was forced to write it all out, you know, shit was clicking, stuff was coming together. I didn't have my numbers completely right, but it finally, like, I had kind of an aha moment when I was writing the pitch. And when I went up to share the story, everybody was like, wow, this is really good. Like, that's great. And I was like, okay. And so out of the 32 students, there were top 3 pitches, and I was in the top 3, and I was able to like share the pitch with the whole entire class. And I was sitting there feeling so uncomfortable in that position, feeling so uncomfortable. Like no matter if I was unprepared or if I was feeling like, oh, wow, I actually am doing a good job, just different types of discomfort, definitely feeling big imposter syndrome. And also, I think what was the most interesting thing, the thing that I was feeling uncomfortable about was that I was feeling proud of myself. And when I really sat with it, I was like, oh, you feel proud of yourself. And this is not something that you often sit with or allow yourself. You will easily, you know, negate it, or you'll easily, it's not good enough, or I have all this other shit to do. And I was just like, well, how often do I sit in this and feel proud of myself? Even if it's like, you know, having such a huge day and then coming home and like cooking dinner with Joe and helping her with homework and then laying my head down. Like that was a huge day and something to feel proud about, and how often I don't do it. And so I'm just, if there's other folks that are feeling this same way, just sitting with it, just sitting with the physical feelings of pride and feeling good and feeling confident and feeling even hopeful about your possibilities. So I'm really excited about this class. And anybody that wants to take a business class, they have it all throughout the country. It's just not in Philly. Y'all should look it up. I'm really grateful and proud that I'm nearly done the thing. So sitting in it, being with it, letting it become a way of an emotion that I feel comfortable with.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out to me.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we have some voicemails here, and this week I have not listened to them. We're just going to play them.
Oh my God.
See what happens. So bear with me as I sort out which voicemail. I'm just going to pick one because I'd have to write them on the thing. Here we go.
Hey, y'all, my name's Leo, and I've listened to y'all's podcast quite a bit for quite a while now. And just want to say I appreciate everything that y'all talk about and how y'all speak about dismantling patriarchy and, like, actually dismantling patriarchy. And, just how you guys not center men. I think Antoinette mentioned that in the last episode, but just how you guys consider men. It's not, I don't think it's necessarily centering us. And I just listened to the episode about when you guys were talking about Jonathan Majors and all that. And I really think a lot of men would appreciate if you continue to have those conversations, because we don't get considered in a lot of those conversations about domestic abuse, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, all of those things. So, like I said, I as a man appreciate that. So I just wanted to call and encourage y'all and let y'all know that there are men that listen to y'all, and there are men that appreciate what you do, and watching both of you grow as people, as individuals, as humans is definitely a sight to see. And also, Antoinette, I think I've interacted with you on Instagram. I'm the guy that told you about my men's book club and bell hooks and all of those things. So I encourage you, Shanti, everyone that is around y'all to read those, read what she says about men and how we are part of this masculine patriarchy as much as everyone else is. So, again, thanks, guys, and best of luck to y'all on everything y'all continue to do.
Oh, I remember you, Leo. Leo, I apologize. We were supposed to connect. I forget more about what the book club was, but I believe that they were reading A Will to Change by Bell Hooks, and I haven't read it yet. And I know I need to. I've read excerpts, I've seen talks on it, but I haven't had the opportunity because still this here flesh has me in a chokehold.
Take your time, sis. Take your time.
Yeah, I think A Will to Change is next.
Leo, thank you for the kind words.
Yes, thank you, Leo, and thank you for that offering for the listeners.
Listening.
Hi, Shanti and Antoinette. My name is Amanda. I'm a new listener. I just started listening this year. I was just listening to episode 251, and I didn't even get into the podcast good because Shanti was just talking about the negative self-talk that she experiences, and that just hit me in my chest because that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now, really heavy. I'm working on it in therapy right now, and it's bad. I'm one of those people that is so negative towards myself that I can't even accept compliments or people doing things for me because I don't feel like I deserve it or I'm worthy of it, because I feel like I'm a failure and no one should ever want to do anything for me because of that, or no one should ever look up to me or anything. So I have definitely been feeling something similar, so I can definitely relate to that. So just wanted to share that I related to Shanti in that moment. So I just wanted to share that. I've been listening to your podcast for maybe a few months now, so I'm just enjoying it so far. But that's all. I'm going to listen to the rest of the episode now. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Amanda was her name.
Amanda. We in it. But we are, what did I say about that brilliant white boy on that TV show? Our wounds are not our identity. So you, me, everyone who's working through things, we're working through it. It's not necessarily us. It's not who we are. It's not capital T truth. So just keep being with it and moving through it.
Amen. Here's the next one.
Hi, Shanti and Antoinette. This is Sunny, and wow, I just got nervous calling into it. I'm calling after I just listened to 51 about the girl saying that she wants to be pursued. And I don't think it's about the state Shanti was trying to question or ask. I think it's more about just literally that wanting to be pursued. And that dating as a 28-year-old who is out of a long-term relationship, at the beginning of the pandemic, I am more sure of myself, right? And so, now dating, I don't have a problem asking, do you want to go out, do you want to hang out, whatever. But I think it becomes more nuanced when the men now feel more entitled to that change, if that makes sense. So maybe that's just the man that I'm dealing with right now because I'm frustrated about that whole situation. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting conversation to have, and maybe dissect more. I've been having a lot of conversations with girlfriends just around, okay, how do you date? How do you let somebody know that you're interested in them, but also wanting them to also pursue you? So it's interesting. Thanks, guys. Love y'all.
Shanti.
Why me?
I don't know. You could go up first.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like honesty is always the best thing. I think honesty is what cuts through a lot of unknowns. If there's lots of unknowns, do they really need to be there, or are you again performing this ritualistic dance that you think, you know, you should be doing, or you're like subtly trying to influence his behavior? I don't have the answers for it. I don't. I have more questions than answers. It's always feels good to be wanted, whether you're a woman or a man. It's always hard to face any kind of rejection, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man. Like, who should be taking on those roles and taking those risks, and who should be enjoying, you know, being the recipient of it? I don't know. I think both folks should fuck around and see what it's like. So, but if there's like a lot of unknowns, I think that that's a reflection of somebody's not being completely honest, which maybe is, you know, you're working through your stuff. You're trying to figure things out, but just assuming or thinking a guy don't like you, or I don't know. I feel like nothing's wrong with asking, and you can ask in a way that's not brazen and it feels out of character for you, I think, but I don't know.
No, I think you got to it. I keep thinking about, like, you know, people always say it's better when the thirst is mutual. It's like that. It's like, of course, everybody wants to feel wanted. Everybody, men, women, non-binary folks, we want to all feel wanted. So I can understand. I think listening to the clip where she is saying, like, I want to be chose. I'm the prize. I think maybe we all are, and maybe here my ass goes, you know, doing that thing I do. But yeah, I think everything you said is it. I think we just have to be honest and move as we move, but also observe ourselves and see how our movement is conditioned by what roles we're supposed to play. If that's what you really want, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that too. Like, hey, I like to feel X.
Say that to him then. Like, say it. I really like you, but I also like to feel pursued. And then that gives him
come
clarity.
After me. You got the fucking green light.
That gives him some clarity. Be like, oh, okay. Or he may be like, actually, I want to feel pursued. And then you have clarity.
And both of y'all could do it.
Just assuming that he should know, and that, yeah, I don't know. Just feels like it just sets up for a lot of unknown variables there.
We have a 50-second one. I'm going to play it. We have time for one more. All right.
Hi, Shanti and Internet. This is Amber calling from the Midwest. I'm just listening to episode 252, and I couldn't get past the story that Internet told about the man she saw in Trader Joe's. Audibly screamed out, no! Because in my life, I'm also single, in the 30s, trying to figure out when's the moment to shoot my shot. I've done it a couple of times, but then, like, I quickly escape after I shoot my shot, so it never goes anywhere. I have yet to shoot my shot with a gay man. I'm sure it will come. Other than that, I just want to let you guys know that I love you. I listen to you every episode, and I'm always going to be on your side. Either way, on both sides, because I like to see the bright side and the dark side. Have a wonderful day. Peace.
Oh, Amber, duality is a thing. Thank you for calling. Listen, you said you haven't yet shot your shot at a gay man that you know of, sis. That you know of. Listen,
I could have been.
To the gentleman that I saw at Trader Joe's, that brown skin beauty with them Birkenstocks on, I want you to know that I love you, and it could have been
I'm
us.
attracted to you. But you got the girls hot.
You, but you listened to See the Thing Is and knew me from there, and you only just wanted to say hello because I was a Friends with Benefits on their show.
And also, you don't like women.
Yeah, I forgot that part.
Most importantly,
He wasn't into women. Listen, The main thing about all of this is we got to shoot our shots. I'm getting better at it. Not really, but I'm getting more bold and I think secure in who I am and like and in accepting rejection. Like, okay, if you reject me, I don't reject me. I think that's the big
That's
change.
the important thing.
And
Yes.
it's like before it'd be
Yes.
like, oh, if you reject me, then I really ain't got nothing because
Yeah.
I'm rejecting me constantly.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm at this place where like
That's it
I'm
right
a work
there.
in progress.
Yes.
Sure, but like I'm not rejecting me. So if you
Express
do
your
it,
thing, ladies.
or thing,
Yes.
you ain't been around me now. You
Uh-huh.
ain't smelt me. Smell sweet. Skin
Child.
soft.
Talk about
Personality
it.
10.
The fuck wrong with you?
Fuck is on your mind, Kangs? You want to be gay instead of with me? What's going on, sir? DM me. Find me. There's a chance. I know it. We at least got to be friends and laugh about this. 'Cause that was too much for my heart.
That was such a good build-up. That was very good.
Mandy called me like, I'm screaming.
That was so good.
Anyway, all right. Let's take a break. Do you want to sing?
No. I'll see you on the other side.
I
Does that make
hated
your-
that.
Does that make your head hurt? Sorry.
Yeah.
You'll
Oh
be okay,
man,
Antoinette.
why you say that? Why would you say it like that? I just said I was okay with rejection. Oh,
All right.
now I gotta get serious for this shit. Here we go.
This.
Do you
Okay.
want me to have my thing ready or no?
Yeah, no,
That's-
that's great. That's great.
Wait, did I text it to you? Here we go with my bullshit.
Right there. I don't have my phone with me because I'm anti-screens, if you didn't know.
I didn't text it to you. Oh my god.
Oh my God! You sent
Did I
it on the
lose it?
Instagram though, right?
I did? Okay.
I have to scream. Hold on.
Oh my god. I know. No, I didn't. Oh, just fucking found this video. Oh, here it is. I gotta have this ready.
No, close it. Yeah, I'm about to record. No. I'm about to finish. I need to finish recording. So. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, ready?
Yep.
And after that rude and abrupt break, we are back. I apologize. So, it's TikTok, Instagram era. We're all self-diagnosing ourselves. We're all learning from other people's trauma. We're all deepening our understanding around psychology. And I was stopped in my tracks recently by a post from Michelle Kenny, and her Instagram is @peace&parenting. And I've been following a lot of gentle parenting, pages. And she has one as well. And the text that she wrote that stopped me was, I believe I was my daughter's first bully. And I was like, oh shit, what had happened? She went on with her slides and she starts describing different ways of how she was showing up in her daughter's life and causing insecurity and power, like putting her power over her in a lot of ways. And that was my interpretation of it. And making her feel less than through these really subtle ways of bullying that I think are commonly practiced and accepted in parenting. And I know for myself as a mother, I didn't necessarily experience these patterns with my own mother, which she lays out and I'll share in a moment. But I definitely see them come up for myself as a mother,
Mm-hmm.
and not realizing that the potential threat and the potential harm that this is creating in my daughter, and in the ways that I'm inviting her to, one, not trust herself, and two, develop this codependency on my validation and my approval. And so she goes down the list of what she considers bullying. Here's what she said. She goes and quotes, "It wasn't what I set out to be, nor did I believe at the time what I was doing was bullying. Now looking back, I know I was bullying instead of supporting her. Number one, if she didn't do what I wanted to, I threatened to take away her most prized things and activities. Two, if she made a mistake, I would shun her and withdraw my love as a way of showing her how much power and control I had. Three, if she was unkind to her sister, I would isolate her and not let her out until I was ready to. Four, when she talked back or tried to stand up for herself, I would reprimand her and shame her. Five, when she was good and calm and quiet, I would love bomb her, praise her, and make her feel secure and wanted. Six, sometimes when I needed her to do something, I would bribe her with a special reward or treat, and she would feel good about herself in those moments because there were so many, child, I don't know what I wrote there. There were so many other feelings to be confused about." So that hit. I think,
Really?
yeah, I think a lot of parents unknowingly do these same things. I think she even talks about and touches on the idea of a timeout, and that being isolating your child when they're acting up or they're acting out, as a way of punishing them or teaching them lessons. And I've been listening to Gabor Mate, and I talked about this with Nana, and his whole theory is all around attachment styles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how, depending on the trauma that a child experiences at a young age, it creates the foundation of their attachment styles. And so much of the Western philosophies around how to handle your children is really traumatic and really creates attachment styles that, they're not secure attachment styles. They create insecure children. They create, they instill this idea of punitive punishment. They really support this idea that children are disempowered and that parents have all the power and that parents deserve all the respect. Yet we don't really teach children what respect is, and we're not really respectful or offer them a lot of space to emote. And I think a lot about Black communities, especially, what's his name? Ta-Nehisi Coates. In his book, he talked about how, in a lot of ways, that was a survival mechanism for Black parents. It was like, I'm a whoop your ass before your life could potentially be taken. Like, it was a safety measurement. You better stay in line because you think I'm going to hurt you. I'm doing this out of protection. And there's always been discussion around, how white people treat their kids, and the difference between Black people treat their kids. But often there's this practice of corporal punishment with Black people in a particular way. Like, you talk when you're spoken to, you have a lot of respect. And then with white people, there's this really unhealthy, boundaryless, and often manipulative way that they handle their kids as well, which often creates this weird attachment style. But I think I'm not at either of those extremes. I don't hit Jolie, not that I've never hit her, but it's in these subtleties that this woman highlights that I can definitely see how you can instill insecurity in your child. And it made me reflect on my own relationship with my mother. And not to say that she's hasn't been a bully and often doesn't still bully me, but her mode of doing it is a little bit different than these examples here. And so I just want to discuss it with you because I think every person is going to recognize a way that they were possibly disempowered as a child, and even talk about these dynamics of disempowering children and disrespecting children and dishonoring their own innate ways that they want to emote and want to like act out to get attention or have their needs met, and how it's just culturally like, no, like be quiet, be good, you know.
Yeah.
The consequence of that.
I think I'm reading this and I understand that any one of these without some sort of balance can be very detrimental. But I think something that would help me understand, because right now I think that there needs to be consequences to things in order to learn. But I'm very much open to understanding a different approach. So what would help me is if we went by like down each one of these and talked about what the alternative approach is. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So number one is, if she didn't do what I wanted to, I threatened to take away her most prized things and activities.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, rather than focusing on or teaching your kid how to, I don't know what the things that she wanted her to do, but in my mind, if it's like, you know, tie your shoe, take out the trash, especially when we're talking about, unless, let's say, we can use Jolie as an example. That's the age that we can focus on. I think it's far more. Actually, let's actually go younger, because what studies say is the ages between 1 and 3 or 1 and 5 are the most critical development periods of your child's life. That's where their attachment style is set in. And then moving forward, you're just kind of course correcting what was laid down foundationally. So let's actually.
But you're not going to be telling a kid at those ages to take out the trash.
Well, let's just say then. Let's just say we want the kid to, I don't know, put away their toys after they play with them. Right, the kid's 3 years old. That's about the age. 3 or 4 is the age where it's like you start laying the foundation of putting your toys away when the kid is little. And I think a lot of times, parents, in our own immaturity or in our own impatience, and because culturally, that's what we're taught is, in order to get something done, you have to take something away from somebody else. And that's going to there's these fear tactics. There's this punitive way of handling kids, not considering that maybe they don't know how to do that. Maybe they just cognitively are not in a place, and they need modeling a lot of ways before they can start doing these things that we want them to do. And again, it's just like this power struggle of trying to of what you say goes versus trying to understand what is actually the disconnect with why this kid isn't putting their toys away.
Yeah, I think though, when you, forgive me, and again, I don't have kids, but if it's loud outside my apartment. If it's a situation where it's Jolie's age and she's just refusing to listen, then I would say there needs to be some sort of consequence so that she can, and it's real fast. And it's not without you explaining like, hey, you are not listening. As a result, I need you to understand that there are consequences to this kind of behavior in life. Like, that's how I was spoken to sometimes, not all the time. But when my dad really got down to the nitty gritty, he would explain to us why we were having these consequences or said punishments. He was like, I'm using this basically as a tool for you to understand that when you get out of this house, there's going to be consequences to you not doing what you need to do. If you go to work and you don't do your job, you might could get fired. And it wasn't just, now there was definitely a hierarchy in the household, and sometimes there was absolutely that power struggle of, no, you do it because I fucking said so. But I think that was after you done explained it to me, and I still ain't listening. So now it's like,
if I'm telling Jolie to do something over and over, and she doesn't do it, my go-to is disrespect, right? My go-to is that she's disrespectful, she's lazy about something, and that this is going to show up in other parts of her life. That's going to be, just like you said, detrimental to her. Those are the things that flare up in me and cause me to then say, I'm going to take this thing away from you. It caused a reaction that is, quote unquote, consequence, quote unquote, a punishment, quote unquote. You're going to feel some type of discomfort because you're not doing this thing.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what my dad was doing, but how he was delivering it was different. The same things exist. There's a consequence because you're being disrespectful, you're being lazy, and you're not listening. So now there's a consequence. So, but it's not without me explaining to you why, so that you don't internalize it as you're bad, you're this, you're that. You're acting in this way. I know you can do more, so do it. And so there's a shift there for me.
I completely understand. I think what I'm interested in exploring is, why are those the three things that I go towards thinking that that's what's going to happen? She can't take out the trash, so she's lazy. She can't take out the trash and she doesn't have any respect for me. She can't take out this trash. She might fail in life. And this is going to be in regards to her homework, in regards to her ability to be a upstanding adult.
So what should you be
I go
thinking?
to the root of, why is that what am I projecting onto her, versus understanding, why isn't she taking out the trash? Is it the time of day? Is the trash heavy? Is she not able to remember to take out the trash? If she is angry and she's doing it subconsciously towards me, why is she angry at me? What is it that is making her, quote unquote, defiant? Because the assumption that your kid is automatically defiant and at the risk of failure, and I have to do something to stop it, that's going to hurt her potentially to make it stop, is not empowering her, and it's not supporting her. It's not even inquisitive and offering her an opportunity to help us solve this problem and figure out in herself, like, yo, I don't know. It becomes this, I have the power, I have the answers. You don't know anything. You're jerking me on the low. You're lazy and you might be screwed. So let me figure this out. Let me nip this in the bud ASAP. And when it could be a cognitive thing going. So I think this idea around peaceful parenting or gentle parenting is trusting that your kids aren't against you, aren't inherently disrespectful or defiant, and that punitive punishment isn't what could actually invite change or invite cooperation. It's like, let's make this a collaborative thing. And if you have a little kid, it's a whole different story. But if you want to stay with Joe,
that's why I wanted to go through this, because the assumption that I need you to explain it to me, because I'm so conditioned to, because I know that I was fully capable, and maybe I'm coming from my experience. I was fully capable of doing most of the shit, if 99% of it, that I was being asked to do. I just was lazy,
I
defiant,
don't. Were
and
you?
didn't want to do it.
I don't
And
know.
maybe
I
a little
don't.
sad. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe it was that. Who knows?
I don't
Maybe
know
he
if
would have been
kids
more
are
inquisitive.
inherently like that. I don't know.
I
I
didn't
don't.
say
I
it was
don't.
inherent, but there was just search that I didn't feel like doing. I'm more talking about that kind of stuff. But if there was behavioral issues where, yeah, I don't know. Keep going. This is helpful for me.
And again, okay, we can go through this then. If she made a mistake, I would shun her and withdraw my love as a way of showing her how much power and control I had.
This is awful. We don't have to explain this. No. Even the way I'm describing my dad explaining this to me, there was not, there was never you're not shit. And you should feel shame.
I think also to be, and I know that there's levels to this, and I know I've done the same thing. And it's not of like, oh, good, get away from me, closing door. I'm not talking to you. Energetically withdraw. I'm angry at you, and you're going to feel me being angry at you. And again, it's this consequence thing that is marking the love is not unconditional. It's finite. And
Can I ask you so I understand fully what you're saying? Were you doing this and purposefully so she could feel it?
No, it's all unconscious. A lot of this, again, is just parenting. It's all unconscious. It's all foundational to what our beliefs are in a lot of ways. It's all foundational to our own conditioning. It's all foundational to our own consciousness in a lot of ways of how we're behaving. But I've felt this in my own mother, and I've seen shades of this in myself. And I see it now in Jolie, because at some point she's learning all of this from me. But if like she does something, again, it's a withdrawal. And so then it doesn't create security, right? Like even in our romantic relationships, this is normalized. And I'm not saying like, yo, I need space from you, right? Like there's one thing to say, I need space in you for a minute. And I think a healthy way of doing that is like telling your baby, like, I love you so much. I'm upset. I need to calm myself down. I need some space from you. And partnership, that's also reassuring. Yeah. It's like this securing energy of like, we're good. Our baseline is always good. It's unshakable. But sometimes that's not said, and a mother will just withdraw. I'm angry. Some mothers fume for hours. Some mothers fume for days.
My mother fumes. Judy got a grudge now.
Which causes insecurity.
But she would do it. That's why I asked. She would do it on purpose. She wanted you to know.
Which is bullying. Well, for what she says, it's like an energetic bullying is what she's saying. Number 3, if she was unkind to her sister, I would isolate her and not let her out until I was ready to. Now, this is the tricky one for the timeout theories.
What's the alternative? Yeah, what's the alternative? This life. Like if I'm being mean to my sister as a child, and I'm truly asking this, and I won't stop, and I'm harming her basically, what do you do with me if you're one person? I would think that you need to get me away from her.
If you're one person, child, that's a lot. I think when I see the Gabor Mate uses this as a reference, and he talks about, I mean, he didn't, context is everything, examples are everything. But if it's a habitual pattern that you're hitting on your sister or acting out in a way,
of course,
acting out is a way for somebody to get their needs met, right?
Of course,
but lots of times people assume that this is just what siblings do. You just act out. We're going to isolate this kid. We're going to put this kid on timeout. What he's proposing, and I'm going to go back to 3-year-olds, because this is where I think shit is ingrained in us at this young age. I see, he talks about how these kids are just learning how to regulate their emotions in a lot of ways. And if a child's hitting or acting out, he's wanting his needs met. He wants some attention in some way. He's needy in a deep way, in a way that is disruptive and violent, but they're asking for their need to be met and to be seen in a particular way. So when they're in their most vulnerable state, that's a vulnerable state to be in. When they're in their most vulnerable state, which when we talk about the color wheel, maybe he's not crying, but anger and acting out and hitting and being violent could also be considered vulnerable state. To put them in another room,
it is.
To take them away from everybody else is neglecting them when they are in a very vulnerable, needy space, when they actually need to be close and potentially reassured in some kind of way or talked to. And again, it's all has to do with the dynamics that are going on. What's showing up? Are they jealous? Are they, who knows? But the act of putting them in another room and saying, you can't come out until you're calmed down, until you're better, is asking a child who does not know how to self-regulate, and they're doing their best to have their needs met, to do that themselves by themselves. And so then they get insecure, or they learn my needs don't get met.
This is great. No, seriously. If you are one person, then what do you offer?
I would actually, if I were in that situation and knowing what I'm knowing now, because my mother is the stash'em queen. Put that baby away. This is a wound for me, because when JoJo was crying all the time, that was what my mom would say to do, was to go put her away. When JoJo was a baby and she needed something that I wasn't, and she was sensing something that because I was a single mom, because I was exhausted, because I didn't have community or rest, or everything was unsettled, she didn't get it from me. But what I would say is that if you're a single mom and your kids are fighting, I would ask the sister, I don't know, I would ask whoever's getting hit to that's not okay that you're being hit. I'm sorry that he's doing that. I would have the child that's being hit be present while we're talking about how that behavior is not right. It's not good. And tell the child that you can't hit her. You can't be unkind to your sister. I don't know. She's very important to me. You're very important to me, and work through whatever it was that caused that riff. I don't know. I don't know, but this idea of putting kids in timeout is when they're acting out, again, is the baseline assumption is that this kid is bad. They need to learn respect, and they need to learn consequences, because if they don't, they're going to be dysregulated, fucked up humans, when in fact we are supporting their dysregulation and isolating them when they're the most in need.
Yeah.
When she talked, number 4 is when she talked back or tried to stand up for herself, I would reprimand her and shame her. Again, this is big in the Black community, child. This is hard. This is a hard one.
I think this is the talked back. If she would have shifted that language to say when she, I don't know, something, but the talked back to me implies disrespect. Whereas there wasn't. I would have hoped that there would have been more space for me to ask questions as a kid. And not in a respectful way where I understand these are my parents. But when they didn't take the time to explain something to me and why that was the rule, and, to ask well, why? You can't just be well, why? In other words, whiny kids or whatever. And you're really just being combative. You're not really asking why. But and I don't know if every child has that capability, so maybe we're asking a lot for kids. But I think that goes to, for me, I don't think there wasn't room for me to talk back to my dad. To my mom, I got away with it, but then I caught hell when my dad got home. But I feel like I wouldn't have talked back so much to her had she met me with a little bit more respect and like explanation, because she would just lash out and it'd be like, I don't even understand why you're acting like this. Like, you're literally just taking your shit out on me. But when they did take their time, specifically my father, there wasn't a whole lot of barking back. It was conversation. I don't know.
I think how the child learns how to communicate is all an example.
Yeah.
You're setting the example.
Shit.
You're teaching them how to communicate. You're teaching them what space they have to take up space. Are you asking them questions, or are you just telling them things? And again, it all goes back to honoring and respecting that kids have feelings. And yes, it's an irrational 90% of the time. Yes, it's immature. Yes, it's out of context. Yes, they don't understand the consequences, why they can't have ice cream immediately. But the shame and the reprimand and the shortness and the lack of time for their feelings to be expressed, I think does a lot of damage in the long run, and a lot of, it affects their ability to trust their feelings. Can I say this? Is this safe for me? I feel this thing, but am I safe if I say this thing? Will it be heard? And it's a child. Listen, what happened to?
But there are things that sometimes I feel like sometimes it is going to be like.
Sometimes it's like, who are you talking to? Like, who are
but
you
also,
talking
like, I can't actually explain this to you. You just have to trust me.
Sure.
And you're not. It's not age appropriate to explain or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
You just have to trust me. And I guess that's maybe you get better luck at building that kind of trust with your kid when you do a lot of, explaining, and there's more understanding between the two of you.
We just this morning I had to be like, girl, was that necessary? I was getting dressed for the day. I woke up. I knew I had a lot of work to do, so I wanted to go to the cafe, start doing work. Jolie has a school report due, so she was going to do work as well. She comes into the room. Where are we going? We're going to a cafe. No, immediately. We're going where I want to go. I don't have time to be worried about where you want to go. Either you're going to come with me to the cafe where I intend on going, or you're going to stay home. That was it. She's like, and then she just kind of like wanders out of the room. She's like, okay, and wanders out of the room.
Well, what would you have wanted to do differently?
I would have wanted to know, why don't you want to go to the cafe? I would have taken a breath. It wouldn't have been like the end of the world. Why do you want to go to the cafe? The reason that she didn't want to go to the cafe is because she has a poster board that she needs to do. In her mind, I can't work on my poster board at a cafe. There's not enough space. But immediately it was talking about, we're going to a cafe, we're going where I'm going. This is my day. You're off. I'm on my schedule. There was no space for her to just share rational thinking, quite logically, like, bro, we can't go to a cafe. I got like a 3-foot poster board. And I had to go back in, and I was like, yo, I'm sorry. I understand why, whatever. I explained, like, we'll work on the paper. Then when we come home, we can work on your poster board. But it's just so ingrained to be like, yo, shut the fuck up and do what we doing. Like,
and I don't think for you specifically, it's a result of you not caring to know what she's doing. It's that you're tired. And it's
you're
not
stressed.
Necessarily, and you're stressed.
Tired, stressed.
And so it comes out that I think the subtext of that for you was just do it. Listen, I got a lot of shit to do. Please fall in line. Make it easy for me, please.
That's my everyday. That's been since the day she came out the womb. Is this high level of like, this is it. I think I hear Black mothers, especially, the level of the impatience that they have. I do not have time to hear you. I do not have the emotional capacity. You're like, the stakes are high. Let's go. Don't
I
fuck
didn't
up.
have that kind of space.
I didn't have that. I don't have that space in any other part of my life. How am I going to give that to you?
And I might not have the tools to
don't have
even
the tools.
wrap
But
my
the
mind around giving you
consequence
the
of
space.
that, the consequence of that, the consequence, I don't know if we talk about it a lot, of Black mothers with their boys. I mean, girls catch it too, but I will hear women who are very rough with their boys from a very young age. But just like you said before, it took me a while to understand, but all the community stepped in. If you don't have the bandwidth, if you're in survival mode, you don't have the bandwidth to be conscious, to live from a, to have this level of self-awareness. It's do or die. Let's fucking go. Like, that's all you know. When she was good and calm and quiet, I would love bomb her, praise her, and make her feel secure and wanted. I mean, we all know the good girl thing.
Yeah, of course.
When you're good, you're seen. When you're good, you're cared for. When you're good, you're safe. And then the last one.
Is she saying that you shouldn't only do that then? Like, of course, you should praise your kid, but love bombing, we all understand. Okay, it's manipulative.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
6, sometimes when I needed her to do something, I would bribe her with a special reward or treat, and she would feel good about herself in those moments. I ain't write this correct.
I'm struggling this one.
I don't know what this says because I didn't write it correctly. Sometimes when I needed her to do something, I would bribe her with a special reward or treat, and she would feel good about herself in those moments because there were so many others to feel confused about, I think is what she said.
I mean, Dr. Andrew Huberman says that treats fuck up your dopamine. I don't know. This one, I feel like, I don't know if this is bullying, but also you wrote it crazy. And I don't mean to bully you. So I'm just like, I don't know, like giving somebody a reward for quote unquote good behavior.
Not a reward. Bribe her, like, yo.
But I feel like she's convinced that is bribing her. Oh, you mean like that?
Like bribe, like if you do this,
if you go to
this
sleep,
done, mommy will give you this treat. If you quiet,
child,
you
this
get
the
all
least.
A's. Mommy
This is the least worst one on here. Moms, y'all tired and stressed. Go ahead and bribe them damn kids. I don't feel bad about this. There's so many other ways to fuck up a kid than giving them some bribes. Listen,
Joe.
I don't know about this. Man, this was really helpful for me because I when you first read this, I said, child, how you gonna raise the kid? Where's the consequence? You touch the stove, you're gonna get burned. You gotta learn. But I guess the stove could lovingly burn you.
I mean, the stove is one thing.
I'm playing. I'm being an asshole.
The stove is one
Please don't
thing.
think I'm serious. No, this was really helpful. This was helpful for me.
I wanted to go into our own relationships with our mothers, but that's another.
That's a whole other thing.
That's another thing because I think there's a saying that the way you speak to your child becomes their internal voice, their inner voice. Okay. And I think that connecting, some of the subtle ways that our mothers or fathers, parents showed up, have lived with us, are in us.
We could do a part 2 next week. We did like 8 episodes on fucking relationships.
They liked it. The people got the people going.
They was like, oh, polyamory, relationship anarchy, say less.
But anyway, check her out.
I gotta try this with Blue.
Blue.
Got a soft parent with Blue.
Regulate.
Look at her. You know me. I'm like, Blue.
Blue's an old woman. She set her ways. Okay, she's like, I am who I am. Should have did this the first 6 months of my life, child.
I tried. It was her aunt. I'm telling you. Shout out to Tina.
Y'all
thank you for this.
Check out Michelle at Peace and Parenting. There's another. I couldn't find her name, but there's another incredible Black. Michelle's white, but there's another Black woman that
I was about to say Michelle's Black.
Gentle Parenting. I don't have her handle, but she's brilliant. She offers a lot of scenarios where you can figure out what the alternatives are because again,
that's what I need.
We don't know what the alternatives are. We think it's not possible.
I'm like, walk me through it. Help me.
What
I remained open.
Shout out to you.
I did.
And then if you want to listen to Gabor Mate, he's scary because he's like, you got the first 3 years and then that's it. Then it's just, you just correcting the errors that you made. I was like,
God.
what? But he's GABORMATE. If you just like look him up in parenting, he really talks about the importance of creating a secure attachment with your child and the benefits of that and how you set them up for success in life so that they can make money, get married, buy a house, and not have to pay taxes.
Wow.
And thank you so much for listening to this episode. Right with Kira.
All right, Shanti's ready to go. Bye, y'all. What's the name of that one? Creating Secure Attachments?
My mother was my first bully.
Oh. Duh. What the fuck?
Was my mother my first bully? Is my mother?
Mine was. But not for this. My father, not, I guess for this too. Let's just add it up, Mom. Because Rude Jude, she did the best she could. That poor young
They're
girl.
just doing the best that they
That poor
can do.
young lady. Traumatized.
20. How old was she? 23. Just working.
That was with Tina. With me, she was older, but broke. Then got child moved into the hood. Black family won't talk to her. She was like, "I did all this for what?" I get it, Mom. Poor lady. Oh, I'm tired. All them damn clips for the first episode. I'm irritated with myself. Let me go back and record them.
But another episode, if you use that
That clip. That's a whole episode.
That's a whole episode. That's a really good one.
Would we want to follow that up with this?
You can, sure. We got series
What
now.
follows this up with that? Yeah, whatever.
I talked to what's the name called me. He has some connections with venues that he can turn over